All right, if you've looked at what's going on around Iran right now in the Persian Gulf area, and with Iran now threatening to bring ships down to counter our ships and the presence in there, and Houthi rebels financed, we're told, by the Iranians, shooting at our ships, that anything could go wrong and it wouldn't take much. And the administration already has promised a quick and decisive response to all of that. Admiral William Fallon, the former Central Command commander during the Iraq War, with us right now. Admiral, it wouldn't take much for this to turn into a crisis. What do you think?
I don't think it'd be much of a crisis, Neil, because there's no comparison in capability. From what I understand, the Iranian ships that have been dispatched down there, if my memory serves me, one of them is a frigate. It's been around for about 45 years, and the other is a small support ship. The capacity, capability of the U.S. ships that are on station right now gross overmatch, so I don't think that's a problem. The bigger issue is the demonstration of continued unrest and instability down there, that part of the world. The Strait of Bab el-Mandeb is very critical, because all the traffic going in and out of the Suez Canal passes by there. It's only about 20 miles wide, so it's a very important choke point. I don't think there's going to be any significant direct threat from the Iranians, but just the fact that you have shooting going on is going to be intimidating to the commercial traffic, and it's just symptomatic of the unrest and lack of stability in that country.
But how do you deal with crazy, Admiral? I mean, you're right, quite right to say, I mean, we would have the advantage, we would have everything technologically going for us, but we've not really had to respond, or we've chosen not to respond to strafing attacks, that sort of thing in the past. I guess we're promising now we would. But again, you're assuming the other side is reasonable and pragmatic enough to think, all right, we don't want to push this tiger. But they're nuts. They're crazy. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I would. I'm not sure they're crazy, but sometimes
how about nuts?
They take
nuts accurate?
They take risks. So I think the deal here is because the place is ungoverned, whoever they are, the Houthis or whatever, that got their hands on these missiles, decided to take a pot shot. That's pretty bold. They shot at the UAE ship, the fast, high-speed vessel, and it looks like they made a pretty big mess of that. And then I think they probably overstepped themselves shooting at our U.S. ships.
Can we defend ourselves in that event, sir? In other words, could they do significant damage to us just with, an errant missile?
I think we'd have to be totally asleep at the switch. I think our folks are well alerted now that they've already had a couple of missiles fired at them. I think the ability of those guys to target us is suspect, but nonetheless, you're right, it's chaotic, and you never know. Here's a good example. The guy that used to be the president of Yemen when I was out there, a guy named Fallon, been the boss there for 20, 25 years, and when I was there, he told me, he said, the Houthi are really bad. They're a real problem. I need you to help me with these guys. And now what do we see? He's on their side because he's trying to get back in power again. So it's just indicative of the fast change. It's a kaleidoscope of activity, and we're hard-pressed to keep a thumb on it. So the recipe for us is to be vigilant. We do have lots of military overmatch at that particular spot, and I think we take prudent measures to make sure we don't get caught napping. But I think it's the bigger issues are further up in the Gulf and Iraq and Syria right now.
Admiral, a real honor having you. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Sure do.